Linda, can you do the honors of restart recording?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did? Okay. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you all for coming. We'll be getting the webinar shortly here. And we're just going to go over some trivia items here to test your musical knowledge. It'll also be a nice opportunity to test your microphones, as well as if you can see what we're seeing and hear what we're hearing. So right now you should just be hearing some kind of background music playing looped over and over. And we'll start this. So here we go with our musical trivia. So here's our music trivia time. So first question, this should be easy. Where is Motown in the Where is Motown? Is it A, Denver, B, Dallas, C, Detroit, or D, Dubuque, Iowa?
C.
Please, okay.
What do you want us to do? Speak or use the chat?
Actually, let's do a chat. Please comment in the chat. But you were right, Lisa. It is C. If you got that wrong, I'd be very disappointed.
Hey, no putting the pressure on.
Put the pressure on here. So, all right, so that's the first one. It's Detroit. Yes, very good. All right, second question. Who wrote God Bless America? A, John Philip Sousa, B, Irving Berlin, C, Glenn Miller, or D, Woody Guthrie? Please put your answer in the chat area. Well, the pressure's on Lisa.
No joke, we're all watching.
Yeah, being grilled. B, Lisa says B, and she's right. It is B. Yes. Irving Berlin did write God Bless America. John Philip Sousa, he wrote a lot of marches, but not God Bless America. Glenn Miller, he wrote, of course, a lot of swing music. And Woody Guthrie, he wrote a lot of folk music. So this is 2 for 2. All right, next question. Okay. Now then, what was the first American movie with synchronous sound? Was it Birth of a Nation? Was it Jazz Singer? Was it All Quiet on the Western Front? Or was it The Wizard of Oz? Tick, 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 tick. Wizard of Oz? Let's see, Lisa says Wizard of Oz. Okay. I'm going to pause a minute here. We got some other contestants coming in. We got Bill. And we got Aaron chiming in. So if you guys, we'd like to kind of see if you can. Synchronous sound basically just means it's basically sound within the picture itself. So it's not like overdubbed or something like that. It's just live sound. I guess that's the best description of it. So Bill and Aaron, can you hear us? I see you've got your video and your audio are muted at this point. So just go down in the left-hand corner and unmute. And if you're having trouble hearing us or seeing us, just put something in the chat. Open up your chat. And anybody else that's coming into the room, let me know if you're having any trouble seeing or hearing anything. Rebecca, I see you came in here. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Bill. Can you test your mic real quick? Unmute it for a second.
How you doing, Mark?
All right. Hey, thanks for joining us. Rebecca, can you hear us?
Yes, I sure can.
And can you hear the music in the background, both you and Bill? It's just a little bit of music.
Yep.
Okay. And then Aaron, can you hear us?
Doing good, Mark.
Okay, great. All right, so you're all here. Thank you. We're still on this one question here. We're asking about what was the first American movie with synchronous sound, and please put your answer in the chat. The question is it A, Birth of a Nation, B, The Jazz Singer, C, All Quiet on the Western Front, or D, The Wizard of Oz? Okay. Okay, Bill says Birth of a Nation. Rebecca is puzzled. Or actually, Rebecca, you did say Jazz Singer. Okay, well, let's get to the answer here. It is, in fact, The Jazz Singer, 1927. The movie that made Al Jolson a huge hit, or a huge star back then. If you can remember that far back, or if you have any music knowledge, for that matter. So far, so good. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right, so this is more of like a radio question. So what future director narrated the 1938 radio broadcast of The War of the Worlds? Was it A, Cecil B. DeMille, B, John Ford, C, D.W. Griffith, or D, Orson Welles? Okay. Okay. Oh, we got a couple of Orson Welles. Rebecca says Orson. Lisa says Orson. Bill says Orson. What do you say, Aaron? What do you think? B? You are all right. All correct. It was Mr. Orson Welles, who later directed the movie Citizen Kane. He also, later in his career, also showed up in a bunch of, I guess, commercials. He was also in the Muppet movie, I guess. You catch him at the very end there. He was the guy who granted the Muppets the standard rich and famous contract. So something to tell your friends if you really want to have some trivial knowledge. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. All right, who is known as the Queen of Soul? Is it A, Ethel Merman, B, Aretha Franklin, C, Kate Smith, or D, Debbie Boone? Okay, got some... all right. Got pretty much a consensus here of, looks like everybody's saying Aretha Franklin here. Let's see. A, I wish. B, only one answer, Bill, not two answers. The incorrect answer is B, Aretha Franklin. Still alive and kicking. Ethel Merman, no, she was not the Queen of Soul. Kate Smith, she sang God Bless America. And Debbie Boone, she sang a very annoying tune in the 1970s called You Don't Light Up My Life. And if you responded with that, I'd be very disappointed. So, hello, Joanna. Can you hear and see us? And can you hear the music in the background? Okay. So we're doing a little trivia here, a little trivia in the chat. All right. Next question. What recording artist did not perform at Woodstock in 1969? Lisa says the Grateful Dead. Bill says Sha-Na-Na. This is, of course, the original Woodstock, not the Woodstock Part 2 that was sponsored by Pepsi-Cola, I think, in 94, I think it was. So, all right. Any other guesses? Oh, wait, Bill isn't right. D is a disco group. Okay, Lisa. Actually, the answer is C, Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan was not there. Janis Joplin was, Grateful Dead was, and Sha-Na-Na, believe it or not, was there. You just have to look on the recording of Woodstock, and you'll find Sha-Na-Na was actually there. It's hard to believe, but Sha-Na-Na, who would later show up in that movie, Grease, was actually at Woodstock. So, okay. So we'll be starting the webinar shortly. What we're going to do here is, for the majority of the time, we're going to ask everybody to mute their mics, but there will be points at times during the webinar where you will be, we'll ask for volunteers to participate, at which point we'd ask you to unmute your mic to chime in with us. And just let us know if right at this point, if you're having any trouble hearing me or hearing any of us, as well as if you had any trouble getting access to our handout. Hello, Kristen. How are you?
Hi.
Okay, glad you can make it. Glad all of you can make it today. Okay. So I'd say we've got a pretty good crowd right now. So I'm gonna change up the change things up here, and we'll get this show on the road. All right. And at this point, I would ask that everybody mute their microphones. So that way we'll try to avoid any potential issues with feedback, so we won't run into that issue. Okay. So can everybody see the PowerPoint slide I have up? And just say yes with a Y in the chat, if you would. Perfect. Thank you very much. Let's see. Wait, that's the end slide. Sorry. That was not good. Okay, we haven't even started yet, so. Okay, here's the beginning slide. All right, so welcome everybody to Sound Learning with Audacity. We're very glad you could be here with us today. And so this webinar is presented by what is known as Team Batcave. My name is Mark Hom, and I'm in my 4th semester here at the Information and Learning Technologies program, emphasis on e-learning. And I'll be I'll be starting things up, and I'll be wrapping things up. So Louisa, if you'd like to introduce yourself. Unmute your mic.
Sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm Luisa Condilis, and I'm also a graduate student at UC Denver. And Linda.
Hi, my name is Linda Riley, and I'm also a student at CU. And I have 4 classes left. I'm hoping to get done by spring, but we'll see. And I'm the Distance Learning Program Manager for the Colorado Judicial Department, which is a statewide program for all court employees.
Okay, thank you. And then, so basically in this time period of about 40 to 45 minutes, we are going to learn the basics using Audacity, and we're going to be basically incorporating kind of our big picture idea for this. We'll be using, our template will be using the classic fable, Aesop's The Lion and the Mouse. So we're going to be kind of creating like little chunks of it for story work. So Louisa will start out with the Audacity Record Basics and Basic Toolbar Overview. And we're going to, Louisa is going to create Linda, Louisa is going to start off. Linda's going to work with you all to create a lion roar. We'll create an effect of the mouse voice and fading with sound effects. And I'll wrap it up. We'll learn how to mix multiple audio tracks together and export it. And like I said, our template basically is the classic fable, Aesop, the lion and the mouse. So a little playing around here with our big picture idea. And just a quick overview of what we'll be using. This is, of course, Zoom. So everyone can use the chat feature. The chat feature, of course, is down at the bottom of your page. And you'll be able to, generally, for our interactions, for answering questions, mostly for when we have a question on a page or something like that, you can use the text box for responding. And like I said, we'll the mute button also, that is also at the bottom left, if I'm not mistaken. Generally, we'd ask everybody to mute their microphones at this point, but once we share our screens with you, we'll relinquish control, it's hard to say, to you to interact with us while we are using Audacity at our end. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is pass it along to Louisa here, and she will basically, hold on a second, sorry. She will start us off here. I'll stop the sharing, and she will start off with the first section. So go ahead, Louisa.
Okay, and before I begin the introduction of the basic toolbars, I would like to ask everyone to use the chat room area and share ideas about how do they plan to use Audacity. How would they use Audacity in their professional or personal lives? Any ideas? Recording sound system in a school project, music effects, creative podcasts, very interesting ideas. And now we are going to continue with the interface. Let's get familiar first with the interface. The interface is going to look pretty similar to what you see here. However, keep in mind that these toolbars can be rearranged and resized. The first toolbar is the playback toolbar, and I'm going to highlight every time the toolbar that I will be introducing, so you can follow along, maybe a different color. I can clear this drawing and use a different color so it's brighter. And the first toolbar is the playback toolbar, and like any other playback toolbar, it has the pause button, the play button, stop, skip to start, skip to end, and record buttons. Now, keep in mind that if you press on the pause button, you will not be able to use any other tools. And in order to do a recording, you have to press on the record button, which is the one with the red circle in the middle. And when you finish the recording, then you click on the stop button, which is the one with the square. And as we said before, the story is the lion and the mouse. So I'm going to read part of the story for the recording. The lion was about to eat the mouse when the little creature cried out, "Oh, please forgive me this time and set me free. One day I will return your kindness." The lion laughed at the idea of the mouse being able to help him and let it go. Shortly after, the mouse heard something that sounded like a lion's roar. And I'm going to stop the recording here, so let's go back and listen to what we have recorded. The lion was about to eat the mouse when the little creature cried out, "Oh, please forgive me this time and set me free." So you notice that when I recorded, this blank screen was replaced with this audio wave. Another thing that you should keep in mind when you do a recording is to look at the meter toolbar. And what the meter toolbar does is, and I'll point to the meter toolbar right now. What the meter toolbar does is to check the level of your playback and your recording. And you also notice that the vertical line stops at 0, which is the 0.0 decibel mark. Now, if during the recording you go past the 0, then your sound will be distorted. In case you need to adjust the sound, you can use the mixer toolbar, which allows you to move the slider up and down and adjust the volume or the recording. And now I would like to ask for a participant, a volunteer, to gain access of my screen and use the toolbar that I just introduced, the playback toolbar. Any volunteers? Bill. So Bill, I would like you to try this playback toolbar and click the skip to start button first. and then play.
Sorry, my audio was muted. You got me now?
Yes.
Hear me? So you want to go back to the beginning of it here. And that's
Start.
that.
Go to the beginning.
Oh, I see. Here's the marker that tells me. I see. There's a marker that tells me where I am. All right.
Play. The lion was about to eat the mouse when the little creature cried out, "Oh, please forgive me this time and set me free." And now click to the button that goes to the end of the audio track.
The very end?
Exactly. Yes,
yeah.
That's right. Thank you, Bill. Now I can regain access. I guess you have to, I have got access again. So I'm going to clear the drawing, all of my drawing again, and this time we're going to continue with the tools toolbar. What the tools, the basic features of the tools toolbar is, and I'm pointing right here. The first one is the selection tool, which looks like a capital I, and the selection tool allows you to click and drag over your audio track so you can edit it. The next button is the envelope tool. The envelope tool controls the audio levels, how high or soft or loud or soft something is. And another useful tool is the time shift tool. So with the time shift tool, what you can do is you can click, if you click play and you feel that your audio track starts way too soon after you hit the play button, you can click on the time shift tool and you can actually move the audio track. So at the beginning, there's a little gap before it begins. Cried out, "Oh, please forgive me." Try that again. And maybe I moved this way too far, and I can try that again. And you notice that there is a gap over before the actual recording. And the last tool is the multi-purpose tool, which is a combination of the selection tool and the envelope tool. And again, I would like to have a volunteer try out these tools and manipulate the recording. Any volunteers? Let's see, Rebecca, would you like to try?
Sure, why not? Okay. So what would you like me to do first?
So what I would like you to do is to click on the select button and then the envelope tool and the time shift tool.
Okay.
Select.
So I drag? Okay, click and drag, good. And then my envelope tool. And that puts little spots in it? Okay. Interesting. All right. And then the time shift tool. So I can move around the start and the stop.
So it doesn't start right as soon as you hit the play button. There's a little silence.
Cool. And this one?
This is a combination of the selection tool and the envelope tool. So you have 2 in 1.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for trying that. And
sure.
And now we're going to continue with
Hey, Louisa?
Yes?
Louisa, just for the fun of it, can you play that?
Tweet the mouse when the okay, let me try move that again here and let's play. The lion was about to eat the mouse when the little creature cried out, "Oh, please forgive me this time and set me free. One day I will return your kindness." So you notice that the sound goes louder and louder and louder after all the adjustments. So then I'm going to clear my drawing again, and then last toolbar that I will be introducing is the edit toolbar. And the edit toolbar is located right here. So what we have here, you may be familiar already with the little scissors and the copy and paste buttons if you have ever used a Word document. So with the cut button, what you can do is you can select a section and you can cut it, or you can copy the section. Let's select again and copy. And then you can use the paste button to paste it wherever you select with your cursor. So I can paste it here. And of course, anytime you can use the undo and redo buttons to undo operations and redo operations that you just changed. And then we have, right next to the paste button, we have the trim audio button. What the trim audio button does is actually removes all audio before and after your selection. So that's what we have left. And then we have the silence button. Again, you have to select a section. And with the selection tool, you can remove the audio and you have silence. The other two buttons that we have is the zoom in and zoom out buttons. With these buttons, you can get a more detailed view of the audio track. While with the zoom out buttons allows you more to see the time frame than the actual track. And then we have the fit selection tool. The fit selection tool allows you to fit your selection into the width of the screen, so you have a more detailed view. And with the fit project tool, which is the very last one, allows you to fit the entire project into the width of the screen, so you have a better view of the entire project, of your entire project. And again, I'm going to call in a volunteer. Let's see, Erin, would you like to try?
Sure. Walk me through what you want me to try.
Sure. So I would like you to select the audio first, and then click on the trim button.
What, this one or the one next to it? Which trim?
The first one is the trim button.
This one right here?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's what you have left. Undo, okay. And then click on the fit project, which is the very last one, the very last button. That's the silence audio. Mm-hmm. The very last one is the fit project.
This one?
This one, so you can see your entire project in one screen. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Well, now you can see the entire project in one screen. And I would like to thank Erin and ask you if you have any questions so far. Do you have any questions?
Nope, doing good.
Anybody? Any questions? You can use the chat room to ask any questions. And if you don't have any questions, then I'm going to pass the microphone to Linda.
Great, thank you. Now we're going to go into some sound effects, which is, I think, is the funnest part of Audacity. And Luisa, if you can stop sharing.
Yes.
Thank you. So we're on page 5 of our handout. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's get us over. And Luisa went over the record basics and the basic toolbar overview. And now I'm going to go into effects. I'm going to teach you how to create a lion roar for our story, a mouse voice, and some fading in with sound effects. Audacity comes with an amazing amount of sound effects, and YouTube is your greatest resource to find some creative uses. You can use Audacity to make creepy noises, robotic voices, and even change your voice to sound like Darth Vader. And people have already figured out how to do all these tricks, and you can go on and they have some really good YouTube videos. For this webinar, I'm going to demonstrate the 3 easy effects to go along with our digital storybook. I will show you the fade in and fade out of the MP3, the lion, and the mouse. Before we get started, use the chat to indicate what sound effects you have created. And if you haven't created any, just put a none or an N in the chat. So we have a lot of nones. So that's great. And you'll see how easy this is. I picked some really easy sound effects. Oops, I'm having some problems with my, okay, there we go. And sorry, I'm having problems with my PowerPoint here. So I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to go into Audacity. And I'm going to show you the first sound effect. Now all the sound effects are under the effect button. You can see there's a lot and it can be overwhelming, so it's best to pick some easy ones to start with. So we're going to do the lion roar. What we need to do is change the pitch. And I'm actually going to make a noise. It's either a cough or a caw, like a crow bird, to make the lion roar. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to hit record. Caw. Now I'm going to select the blue wave, just the wave. I'm going to go under effects and I'm going to change the pitch. I'm going to decrease the pitch percentage. I'm going to decrease it so it's deeper. So I'm going to go -75%. And this number I found on YouTube. Again, other people have tested it and figured out how to do it, so it's really easy to find some sound effects. So now when I play it back, you'll hear a short lion roar. Did you hear that? Did everyone hear that? Okay, thumbs up if you've heard that. So that gives us the lion roar for our story. So I'm going to go ahead and then show you how to create the mouse voice for our recording. And then I'll have someone add the lion roar at the end. So I'm going to read a little clip from the Lion and the Mouse. The lion was about to eat the mouse when the little creature cried out, "Oh, please forgive me for this time and set me free. One day I will return your kindness." The lion laughed at the idea of the mouse being able to help him and let it go. Shortly after, the mouse heard something that sounded like a lion's roar. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play until I hear the first sentence for the mouse's voice. Right out. "Oh, please forgive me." So there's the mouse's voice. This looks like one sentence. I can highlight it and just play that section. So let me hit play. "Oh, please forgive me for this time and set me free." Okay, so under effects, I found my first sentence. I'm going to click on change speed. I'm going to speed it up. And I'm going to have this 40% is the percentage of change. And I'm going to go ahead and apply it by saying okay. So now I'm going to play back that same sentence and it'll sound like a mouse. So let me get to the beginning and click on play. The lion was about to eat the mouse when the little creature cried out, "Oh, please forgive me for this time and set me free. One day I will return your kindness." So you can see how that sounds like a mouse. And that was the change speed. So could I have a volunteer to select the second sentence that the mouse voice is in and apply the effect? I know there's someone out there who's dying to do this. First one to put a thumbs up or put their name in the chat. Haley, I was just going to pick on you. So go ahead and request control. At the top of the screen, you can click on request control. And I just approved you. So go ahead and put your marker somewhere on the recording and stop when you hear the second. Oh, you know where it is. One day. And you can highlight it. One day I will return your kindness. One day I will just highlight it and make sure you have it. And effects.
And change speed.
Change speed. And it remembers what I put in there. So 40%. And now you can play. The lion was about to eat the mouse when the little creature cried out, "Oh, please forgive me for this time and set me free. One day I will return your kindness." The lion. Perfect. So you see how we got the mouse sound effect in that. And so now the end of this little part of the recording has the lion roar. So now we're going to add that in. And I'm not going to make anyone else call like a bird because it's embarrassing. Don't know if I'd get any volunteers. But I put my cursor at the end. And I'm going to make a loud caw noise again. Caw. And I hit stop. Now can I have a volunteer to highlight that caw sound wave and apply the effect that we use to make the lion roar. And the first one in the chat. I know Bill has a lot of fun doing these. How about Bill? Bill, do you want to request control of the screen?
Sure, I'll do
Thank
that.
you, Bill.
Let's see what we got here.
Up at the top, you just request.
Yep.
There we go.
Got it.
Just approved you. So I need you to highlight just the caw noise. It's the bottom track. Just the wave itself. And then go up under effects. And we're changing the pitch. It's up towards the top.
Oh, it's near the
Change
top.
pitch.
Oh, change pitch. Okay.
Yeah. And it remembers what I changed. It's -75% in the frequency there. So it's already got it, and just click OK.
Yeah.
Now if you go all the way back to the beginning of the whole track for the whole story and hit play, you'll hear the lion roar and the mouse's voice.
The lion was about to eat the mouse when the little creature cried out,
"Oh, please forgive me for this time and set me free. One day I will return your kindness."
The lion laughed at the idea of the mouse being able to help him and let it go. Shortly after, the mouse heard something that sounded like a lion's roar.
Okay, see, now you can see how you can use this to create a digital storybook for kids or for getting kids to read. This would be great. So now I want to ask in the chat, how many of you have used music to enhance a project? Quite a bit. So I want to show you quickly another effect is the fade in and fade out. And this is great for projects where you want to do talking and start with music. So I'm going to import an MP3 that I already have on my computer. And if you look at the sound waves on this, it's really big. So I'm actually going to use the toolbar at the top and decrease my playback volume so I don't kill your guys' ears. If you look at the sound waves at the beginning, I'm actually going to highlight the first beginning section, and I'm going to go under effects, and I'm going to fade it in, which means decrease the loudness. And you can see how it's come from a point and it gets louder. I'm actually going to do it twice because I want a big difference. So I'm going to do fade in. And you can see it made it really tiny. So now the music's going to play soft and gradually get louder. So that's the fade in. And the fade out is the same process. You just click fade out. And I'll show you, I'll take a section. You wouldn't do it in the middle, but you could do it at the end. You can do it anywhere you want. We do fade out and see how it made it down to a point. So it goes loud to softer. This would be great for many projects like podcasts where you want to start with music and then fade it out and then start talking. Can you think of any other projects for the fade in and fade out? Let me know in the chat. How could you use the fade in and fade out effect? So we have digital story narration from Mark, and I had podcasts. This would be great to record a podcast of yourself. Rebecca's used it when switching songs. You could use it to start a digital story. Blending tracks. Bill's used it for blending tracks. Now, does anyone have any questions on the sound effects that I've shown you? And just remember that YouTube has everything. You can sound like a robot. You can make great kids' books by using YouTube. So now I'm going to pass it off to Mark. He's going to teach you about mixing tracks.
Thank you, Linda. Okay. How's everybody doing? Can you hear us? Anybody have any questions? Any issue hearing us at this point? All's well. I like that. All's well. Hopefully it'll end well, so we'll see. All right. Well, thank you very much. So now we're moving on here. We've done the record basics and basic toolbar overview. We've also created line, roar, mouse voice, and fading sound effects. So now it's on to mix multiple audio tracks together and to export them. And this is kind of where all the pieces kind of are put together, and we have our final project. So I'll just kind of go over briefly here the Audacity mixing and exporting main points. We're going to use the envelope tool and as well as what's called the auto duck to mix our tracks. When you're mixing, you want to define which is going to be your primary track and which is going to be your secondary track. So our narration is the one we want to hear to be louder than the music, so we're going to have to bring the music track down. And we're also going to be, like I said, exporting our audio project to a file. And what we need to do before we need to do that, we have to ask ourselves, what do we want, compressed or uncompressed audio file for this project? It really depends on where you're going to put this, how are we going to use it, and how much space you're really going to use for your project. So what we'll do is we'll kind of jump. I'm going to change up here. Let's see. I'm going to get into my Audacity real quick. And let's see. Okay. So we're in my Audacity. My interface is slightly different because I have a iMac computer. So, but it's for the most part, it's pretty similar. So so we're going to mix these tracks here. I've got my music. I got a music file up here in stereo, and then I've got Luis's recording. So right now, here is kind of what it sounds like, and I'll bring down the playback volume a little bit so I can blare it.
The lion was about to eat the mouse when the little creature cried out, "Oh, please forgive."
Now, that's not bad, but it's just not a good mix. We need to bring down the music and emphasize more of Luis's talking. So if you can follow along on page 8, if you need to refer to that in your handout, what we're going to do is go back to what Louisa had introduced up here, and let me just get a little indicator. So what we got here up here is what's called the envelope tool. So we'll click on that, the envelope tool. As you can see, the envelope tool enables you to adjust the audio levels, or what's called the wave amplitude of the in terms of the volume levels, the wave levels here. So what you can do, as Louisa had shown, I think what we'll do is, first of all, I'm just going to move her narration just down a little bit, give a little introduction to the audio, and go back to the envelope tool and bring you can see she starts talking right about here. And what I'm going to do is put a point along the line here of the music and just kind of bring it down. I'll put another point here just for some contrast. Bring this point up, but bring this point down here. That way, we just hear a little bit of music, and then it goes down very sharply at the beginning, and then it'll probably be a little bit better of a mix. So we'll just let us play this out.
The lion was about to eat the mouse when the little creature cried out.
So that's a nice little tool you can use to play around if you like to adjust audio in a very visual sense. And I kind of like doing that, being able to adjust the different waves. So what I'm going to do is just undo here, undo the envelope, and I want to get a volunteer from the back row, maybe somebody who hasn't, somebody in the back of the class here who hasn't participated yet. Kristen, would you like to step up?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna, let's see here. I'm gonna give you remote control here.
Okay.
You're in control.
All right. So this is the tool right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it.
And then, so I drag down a little bit here.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. And you can. That's a possibility, yeah. And if you want to, bring down the audio, the other levels, you can. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There we
Whoa.
go.
Whoa.
So, sorry.
Yeah. It's all relative. And if you can bring down that first point there, yeah, right there.
Okay, and back.
Bring it down. Whoop, bring it down actually.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Move it back a little bit more here.
Yeah. Yeah, it just takes some getting used to.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
that. So why don't you play it out and see what it sounds like?
The lion was about to eat the mouse when the little creature cried out, "Oh, please forgive me this time and set me free. One day I..."
Yeah.
So I think I made it go louder.
Yeah.
Lower than louder.
It takes some doing. It takes a little time to get used to that.
The lion was about to eat the mouse when the little creature...
Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. No, that's good. That's good. It does take, if you talk to anybody working in audio production, it does take some time to, get used to it. So it's if you've ever, I think all of us can vouch for, being, working on a project and go, my, this is taking so long. And then we all find out why it takes so long because it takes practice. So, okay. Let's see here. So I'm going to stop remote control for a second. Thank you very much, Kristen. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to put this back. So that's one way of adjusting the audio of one track. The other way, and this is actually something you can find, just undo, or just put this back. The other way you can do this, if you're not, so much into the visual, adjustment of audio, and if you just want to be more, I guess, a little bit more, reducing audio levels using numerical way of looking at it. The other way of doing it is what's called the effect. There's an effect here. It's called auto duck. So basically, it just ducks the level of one track under the other. So when you do the auto duck feature, you'll want to select your top track. Will basically duck under this track here. So we make sure to highlight this track here. And actually, I'll go back into this mode, using this tool here. And I'll go into Effect, Auto Duck. Okay. So the nice thing with the Auto Duck feature is it's a little bit more, you can duck and, if you like numbers, it's just a little easier to kind of, duck to a certain level. And this, 21.4 decibels, that's kind of, a little, maybe a little too much, but, there's some default settings, and usually 16 decibels should be nice. And here you have your basically a fade down from one track to the other. So this is set at half a second. I'm going to leave that. And there are also other little things you can dig into here, but this is basically a very simple way of doing this ducking audio on one or the other, and you're going to see it just automatically does it for this one section here. So let me just hit OK. And boom, does it like that. So let me just play it out and just kind of hear it.
The lion was about to eat the mouse when the little creature cried out, "Oh, please forgive me this time and set me free."
So that's a nice little way of doing it if you just don't want to, if you don't have the time and you just want to be very, pretty straightforward about using it, that's another way of doing it. So I'd like to pick another volunteer from the class, somebody who hasn't been up yet, I think. Let's see. We got most people. Let's see here. Haley, have you chimed in?
I have, but I can.
Can you do it again? Okay, I'll give you control. You are in control now.
And so I'll just make some.
So yeah, just go to Effect. Go to Auto Duck. Okay, so just kind of set your levels, how far down you want the music track to go under. Ooh, big time. Okay, and you can also adjust your, whatever other levels you want to do, but that's kind of basically what you want to do, and then there's other things you can change, but that's basically, if that's good with you, give it a shot. Boom, wow. And play that out, see how it sounds.
The lion was about to eat the mouse when the little creature cried out, "Oh, please forgive me this time and set me free. One day I will return your kindness." The lion laughed at the idea of the mouse being able to help him and let it go. Shortly after, the mouse heard something that sounded like
and if
a
you can hit
lion.
stop. Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So, and I think, Aaron, you had a question if there's a difference between using AutoDuck versus doing it manually. I guess it depends upon, you know, how much time you have, and it depends upon your style, really. The nice thing is, you know, I think AutoDuck is a little, you know, easier for some people. It really depends upon your style, and if you're like one of these people who likes to just kind of visually see something, you know, go down audio levels, or if you like, you know, to edit, you know, more numerically. It really depends upon you. So, all right.
And then Mark, we had a question from Lisa and Aaron about why each track has 2 lines.
That is because it's stereo. That is because it's in stereo, two lines. Let me just undo this, undo AutoDuck. So basically, all your music will be coming, most of the time you'll be recording or inputting, importing items that are in stereo, like music stereo. So it's left channel, right channel. And we recorded this narration, left channel, right channel. It really depends upon your input, your settings. So most of the time you are going to have everything in stereo. So any other questions right now? Okay, so I'm just going to kind of pop a question to everybody right now. And let's see here. I just want to kind of take a poll here. Before we go into exporting, I'd like to know, what audio files have you used with your projects before? Have you used MP3s? Have you used WAV, AIF, other? I'd just like to get an idea of what everybody is familiar with to kind of get some feedback. Okay, so we got MP3, WAV, MP3, WAV. MP3, WAV, pretty popular. That's not, you know, that's pretty, you know, very popular formats. And basically, you know, the long and short of it is, of course, MP3 is a compressed audio file, whereas WAV is uncompressed. And of course, you know, anything that's compressed will take less space but have less detail, and everything that's uncompressed will have more detail, like the WAV file, and will basically, you know, it will take up more space. So, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a quick export here. It's very simple. It's very simple. There's not much to it. So when you export audio, you will just go to your file menu, go into export audio here, and then, oops, I can't, hold on a second. Let me just, I don't know if you can see this. It's the very top here, depending upon your view. But what you'll do is you'll save as up here and select your destination, and basically choose your file format. Let's see here. I can't. Okay, you'll set your file format either to a WAV. You have all these different formats, but WAV is one of the options. MP3 is another, and you'll just kind of set your WAV file and then go to save. And this little warning will pop up saying your tracks have been mixed down to 2 stereo channels, the exported file, and that's nothing to really worry about. And then this box will sometimes pop up. It's called Edit Metadata. And this is relevant if you're ever working in a project where you're using copyrighted material, and this will basically keep all your material information regarding any metadata about anything that may be copyrighted. If you want to, you know, refer back to the name of the album title, artist name, that kind of thing. It's useful if any project you need to cite your sources or cite, you know, the information on the project. So that's useful. And then you hit OK. It'll take a little time, and it'll export to wherever you sent it. And of course, you know, like everything, just play it back, and just to make sure that it was playing fine. And that's pretty much it for exporting. So I just have, is that pretty clear with everybody? Does everybody have any questions about that? Okay. So, and I just want to pop up one more question here. I'd just like to know, take a poll here and just kind of give me an idea in the chat area. I'd like to know what e-learning software have you used in your projects? Have you used Adobe Captivate? Have you used Articulate Storyline, TechSmith, Camtasia? I'd like to get some feedback on that. Okay, we got a lot of Camtasia, Captivate. The reason I asked that about that is that also is relevant to how you want to export, because there are certain types of files you can import into, say, a Captivate, like an audio file like MP3, but not like some other AIFF files. You can also do WAV, that kind of stuff. So the nice thing is about, I would recommend if you're doing a compressed, make it MP3, or uncompressed, make it a WAV. That is probably the simplest thing to do for any project. So, all right. So hold on a second. So we pretty much covered kind of our basic elements here, all three sections. And I'm just wondering if anybody's kind of got any questions at this moment, and they can just open up your mics and kind of ask any questions you may have either in the chat or just open up your mics. Doesn't Captivate automatically change WAV to MP3? I don't think necessarily so. It really depends. I guess it would depend upon the settings of Captivate itself. My recommendation, of course, is to get the best audio quality you can import as a WAV. But of course, it all depends upon how big a file you want to upload to a website or wherever you have you. It's really, I guess, dependent upon your project and your project parameters. Does that make sense, Bill? Okay. Okay. Any other questions at this time?
Mark, I have a sort of a technical question. Does Audacity use the usual range of plugins, like VST plugins and that sort of thing? Do you know about that?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know those details. I don't know if Louisa or Linda may know, but on our handout, on the last page of our handout, there's a lot of resources that you can use to answer some questions. And you can just Google that information online, and there's some pretty good tutorials. It's a pretty easy software to use. So that may take a little bit of digging, but I'm sure there's an answer out there for you. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. All right, so I think we're about 45 minutes here. So we want to thank everybody for attending. We would like everyone to give us your feedback, and Linda just put in a SurveyMonkey link for everybody to click on. We'll actually email you tonight and send this link to you. And we're very thankful for everybody for participating in our webinar today. If you have any questions, just kind of hang around. If you have anything else to do or anything else, questions, and we'll let you know. But thank you very much. And if Louisa and Linda have anything else to say, I think we've appreciate your time.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.